Daddy, can we help her? The small voice of his daughter cut through the noise of the busy street, making him pause mid-step. Jack, a single dad and war veteran, glanced down at his little girl. Her wide innocent eyes weren't on him, they were fixed on a young woman sitting against the cold brick wall, her arms wrapped around herself, tattoos running across her skin like untold stories. People hurried past her, some sneered, some whispered, but no one stopped. She looked tough with her ink, but her trembling hands and lowered gaze betrayed her. Jack's daughter tugged his sleeve again, voice softer this time. Please, Daddy, can we? That question, so simple, so pure, hit Jack harder than any battlefield memory ever had. He had spent years protecting strangers, yet here in civilian life, he too had walked by without noticing. He studied the girl again. She was shivering, her clothes torn, her backpack barely clinging together. For a second, Jack felt the old instincts rise, the part of him that never ignored someone vulnerable. With a sigh that was half surrender, half relief, he nodded. All right, sweetheart, let's help her. Jack crouched down in front of the girl, his voice calm, steady, the same tone he used when leading frightened soldiers through chaos. Hey, you okay? The girl's eyes shot up, guarded, ready for mockery. But instead, she met the warm, steady gaze of a father who had seen his share of brokenness. She hesitated, then shook her head. No words, just silence. Jack's daughter reached into her little bag and pulled out a granola bar, placing it carefully in the girl's lap. That tiny gesture cracked the shell. Tears welled up in the young woman's eyes as she whispered, "Thank you." They didn't just walk away. Jack invited her to their modest home, much to the girl's disbelief. I don't want to cause trouble, she muttered, clutching her bag. But Jack's daughter held her hand like she'd been waiting to do it all her life. You're not trouble, she insisted. That night, Jack learned her name was Emily. She had been on her own for months after leaving an abusive situation. The tattoos. Each one was a scar turned into art, a piece of her survival. Jack listened quietly, his daughter nestled beside Emily like she had found a long-lost sister. The more Emily shared, the more Jack realized how many people had failed her, how many had judged her for the ink on her skin while ignoring the pain in her heart. The next few days, Jack helped Emily find stability. He gave her meals, a place to rest, even fixed up her torn bag with his old military sewing kit. His daughter cheered when Emily smiled for the first time. But what Jack didn't know was that Emily wasn't just some lost soul on the streets, she had ties to a powerful family she had run away from. A family that had been searching desperately for her. On the fourth morning, as Jack poured coffee and his daughter laughed with Emily at the breakfast table, the rumble outside shook the windows. Jack rushed out, ready for a fight if need be. But instead of danger, sleek black limousines lined the street. Men in suits stepped out, scanning for someone. Jack's hand instinctively went to his side, his training kicking in, until a distinguished older woman emerged from the lead car. Her eyes immediately found Emily. Emily! The woman cried, tears streaking her face. Emily froze, her fork clattering to the table. Mom, she whispered. The next moments blurred, mother and daughter rushing into each other's arms, bodyguards discreetly keeping a distance, neighbors gawking at the sight of luxury cars outside the humble veteran's home. Jack stood there, unsure if he'd just lost someone who had become part of their family. His daughter tugged his hand again, whispering, "Daddy, she found her family, but we'll always be hers too, right?" Jack knelt down, hugging his little girl tight, his voice thick. "Always, sweetheart, always." Emily's mother turned to Jack, gratitude shining through tears. "We've been searching for her for so long. Thank you for protecting my daughter when we couldn't." She glanced at Jack's daughter and smiled softly. "And thank you, little angel, for reminding grown-ups how to be human." The limousines left eventually, taking Emily back to the life she had fled, but she didn't leave Jack and his daughter behind. Weeks later, Emily returned, not in limousines, but on foot, her smile brighter than before. She had reconciled with her family, started therapy, and was working toward a new future. And she wanted Jack and his daughter to be part of it. "You didn't just save me," Emily said, voice steady, "you gave me a reason to believe people still care. You became the family I didn't know I needed." The story ends not with limousines, but with three people sitting on a porch, sharing laughter over hot chocolate. A single dad who thought his days of protecting were over, a daughter whose pure heart opened the door to healing, and a young woman whose tattoos no longer symbolized pain alone, but also the love she found when someone chose to stop and help. And as the video fades, the narrator's voice joins the viewer directly. Sometimes, the smallest voices, like a child's question, can change lives forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because the world needs more reminders that kindness is the greatest legacy we can leave behind.